country has tremendous history and experience when it comes to sports and different sporting activities. Sports are a part of our culture and entertainment. And today, I'm in conversation with the man who makes all this entertainment possible. Let us meet Mr. Prasana Krishnan, Business Head of Sony Six. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Thank you so much for coming on board for this. So, firstly, tell us, you have been in the sports business for nearly a decade now. How sporty are you as a person?
Well, used to be quite active in sports earlier on. I still at least love my fitness regime.
Alright.
I don't get to play as often as I used to some of the sports that I did follow, but well, I still manage my 3 to 4 days, 4 times a week of running, so I'm quite happy with that.
Nice. So you actually run, you make it a point to do a bit of running
Every second day or so. I love to run, so
Nice.
that's my favorite pastime and my best unwinding method. So
Nice. And was it a conscious decision to actually structure your career, around the sports industry? Because, it's such a favorite amongst a lot of the young people.
strangely enough, it happened more by accident than by design. I was in the media industry earlier on, but I really did not even know that there was a detailed structured sports industry when I was on the other side of it. I was earlier with the Times of India group. Because of some personal reasons, where my wife was planning to move to Singapore and I was looking for an opportunity there, and the opportunity that turned out happened to be in the sports industry.
Yeah.
So, and that's how it happened. So, like I said, it wasn't really by any plan, but once in there, it's been a great run. So it's one of those industries that you really get fascinated, and well, you don't enjoy sport as always as you did earlier on as an outsider, because sometimes it becomes too much of work.
Right.
But well, it's still a great place to be in.
What kind of changes have you seen in the industry over the last couple of years?
It's been a very, very, very interesting decade actually.
Yeah.
Back in 2006 when I joined this industry, how significant the shift is can be envisaged by the fact that there was no IPL,
Right.
there was no T20.
Right.
So the world of cricket was still one-day internationals and T20s, one-day internationals and test matches, and they were still the dominant form of cricket. T20 had still not been introduced. Today, 8 years later, it's T20 domination. IPL is the biggest sporting event on earth in the world of cricket, and the dominant format is T20s.
Right.
And we often talk about how to revive the other formats, which were the dominant formats. So it's been a sea change. That was the first phase of interesting developments that I've seen. The second one is the whole broadcast industry itself, from having a couple of sports channels primarily focused on providing cricket to a dozen sports channels now, and pretty much any and every sporting action in the world is now made available to fans in this country. Name the sport and it is there. And I think in terms of access to sports on television, Indian market probably has the greatest amount of access at the most affordable prices as compared to anywhere in the world. So even the most developed countries cannot claim to be able to provide everything on a single platform to its viewers. So that's been a second very, very interesting development. And the third thing is what the current stage that we are seeing actually. Investment that's happening into sports in this country to make events happen in this country right now is at an all-time high. See the number of leagues that are happening, number of events that are actually hosted. Indian fans in the past used to get an opportunity to see 10 to 15 matches a year of cricket primarily. Today, on an average, between tennis, football, basketball, kabaddi, cricket, etc., we're looking at probably 300 events a year in this country. And almost every major or even semi-urban cities now have an opportunity for fans to go to an event and experience it live, which is a very, very different experience from watching it on TV. So it's been 3 very interesting phases that I've seen, and I don't think there's been a more dynamic industry in recent years at least.
Right, I think it's absolutely wonderful. You're absolutely right when you say the IPL has completely changed the face of how people used to view sports and how they do it now. Tell us what drives you to strive harder.
I like a new challenge every time, so it's good fun to be able to coming into a situation, sees odds stacked against you or a difficult entry, and then just try and figure out how to make the most of that situation. I always have been a bit analytical and have liked variety and new challenges. So, and Sony Six was that challenge because generally the wisdom in the industry or the thought process was it's too difficult to enter the sports industry. It's already well established with too many players. Can a new player ever manage to make an entry? It was a very interesting challenge that I wanted to take up, and well, extremely pleased with the results so far.
Yeah. And are you the sort of person who makes calculated investments, or do you believe in going with a gut feeling?
I did used to be an extremely calculated person. I still am a calculating kind of a person, and I still am. I like to take a very analytical approach to things. But increasingly, I'm also starting to value the requirement and necessity of that field. So I think I'm becoming a bit more risk-taking as the years have progressed. This industry actually requires a combination of both. I think business in general requires a combination of both. You cannot just be afford to be going purely by instinct and gut feel, because while it can have big payoffs, it can be equally disastrous for a company, and that's not something I would ever advocate. But calculated risk-taking is always essential, and that's precisely what I'm trying to achieve, a right balance of these days. So hopefully things will continue to improve.
Nice. Okay, why don't you share with us any one memorable or any critical incident which has, shaped your life in a significant way?
Actually, it's been a combination of events, a series of events, because one of the things which I've enjoyed most about my career and the way things have progressed is the variety of opportunities I've had and the opportunity to demonstrate versatility in this process. My first job actually started out as a journalist.
Nice.
From there, I moved on to energy sector consulting, working on state electricity boards reforms in Arthur Anderson. From there to corporate strategy in media. From there to sports. So it's been interesting challenges at every stage, and like I said, I just love a sheer new challenge and a variety, the variety that anything new offers you, and that's precisely what's been defining, and that's, I hope to see a few more industries by the time I retire.
Nice. Who are the people who have influenced you in your life the most?
There are so many inspirational stories out there. So many stories of both professionals making it big and risk-taking businessmen starting afresh and going on to succeed. And the media and telecom space is so full of them actually. The e-commerce space is now getting a few. So I'm an avid reader when it comes to studying business trends and seeing how things shape up and seeing how new industries are taking shape. One thing which used to fascinate me earlier on was the Airtel story. It will start from zero to create Airtel to where it is today. And now I see something similar on the e-commerce space. If you see many of these guys, many of the new companies that have been set up, startups, etc., they're now talking of scale and size which rivals and actually exceeds many of the other bigger companies, because if you see the stories of the Mintras, Jabongs and Snapdeals, etc., each of them are now talking about turnovers in thousands of crores. Not something which many of us would have envisaged. So that ability to, and probably that's why I was talking about earlier on about calculated risk taking. Conventional analysis and logic would never have allowed you to see an opportunity of that sort. So while analysis would have shown you some level of opportunity in the internet space and belief in it, it's eventually a gut feel which makes you believe that there is a space out there, there is this opportunity out there. Keep your eyes out and you see a lot of these opportunities all the time, lots of inspirational stories out there.
Where do you draw energy? Do you believe in meditation, or do you do something regular which keeps you calm and focused?
Actually, my running is what helps me do that. So that's the thing which I find most relaxing.
Do you go for the marathons?
No, I just don't have the patience for a 2-hour run. I normally stick between 30 minutes to an hour. So that's about the outer limit of my patience levels. I just start speeding up after some time and then just wind up.
Okay. Alright. How would you define your personal style?
I'm still trying to discover that, because it, again, is generally quite formal. But trying to find that combination and trying to relax a bit more.
Do you have any favorite brands, clothing brands?
Not very particular about brands per se. I like variety, again, just the way it looks in this. So I'm not very fussy that I have to have a brand or this, but I think a huge combination of brands is what you would find in my wardrobe.
Could we ever spot you street shopping, like on Bandra Linking Road or something?
You won't sight me shopping too often.
Okay.
But when I do, I'm not.
Matter.
Yeah, I'm not particular about where I'm shopping.
Okay, tell us, what is your favorite sport?
Football is what I have really started picking up in a big way.
Right.
Basketball and football are the two which I very actively follow. It used to be cricket, as it is for every one of us.
Absolutely.
Till cricket became too much of work. And then I needed a sport which had less of ad breaks, I guess. And cricket just had too many of them. So football and basketball it is.
Were you active in your school and college days when it came to playing football or?
Not football, basketball in college. Cricket, of course, throughout earlier part of life. I also used to be an avid table tennis player.
Nice.
But yeah, these are the sports which I was more active in.
Has there been any one valuable advice which you have received, from probably your parents or anybody whom you have looked up to, which you have inculcated in your life and which you would like to share with us?
Well, actually, lots of valuable advice, most of them serious earlier on, and that was what channelized me the way I was in terms of seriousness of thought and analysis, analytical skills, etc. But one interesting thing, actually a more offbeat one I would say of late, which I'm trying to inculcate, is actually came from a hilarious cartoon strip, which basically said, don't take life so seriously, it's not like you're going to get out of it alive. And
absolutely.
And I think that's that really sums it up. Sometimes, if you see, when you read all your philosophies out here in this office also, I can tell you has a whole host of inspirational quotes and this which our company HR and people have put up.
Right.
Inevitably, all of them tend to be life advice on a very, very serious note in terms of how you should progress further. So something which actually takes it away and talks of a lighter side of things, allows you to put it in perspective, take that one step back and see a bigger picture. And I think that's one which I'm really inspired by of late.
Yes. So on that note, tell us, if you had to describe your life in one word, what would that be and why?
Unpredictable. As I told you, the way different industry segments, nothing that I ever planned for. I mean, none of this was planned for. I didn't think journalism was going to be my first career. I was looking forward to being in the investment banking space. My desire in life was to be a mutual fund manager or something like that. I have a background in finance. I've never done finance in my life. So sometimes unpredictability is the most interesting thing. Like I said, I didn't even know a sports industry existed till I got into it. And I don't think I could have ever planned on saying that I would be running a sports channel.
Fantastic.
That's where it was. So unpredictable is what I would go with, and I hope it continues that way.
All right. Well, Mr. Krishna, I had a lovely time talking to you. I hope you had a good time as well. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank
I had
you.
a lovely
Thanks
time.